Thank you, Professor. Good afternoon again. I'm sorry I don't speak Italian, and I know I forced you to interact with the language that no one maybe not feeling comfortable because the meeting is in Italian. Next time when I come back, I will pick some Italian and assure you that I will improve. At least I will listen what you are discussing. This afternoon, I want to talk on a very specific thing on the use of renewable energy in Africa. We've discussed a lot of things this morning. Many of the things that we have discussed have laid two kind of feeling to us. One is a big concern and how situations in Africa is increasingly complicated from time to time. And on the other hand, we'll also discuss some opportunities and how the economic and other changes in Africa is very much capturing the dynamism that the world is witnessing, particularly since 2000. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I want to confirm that before I go into my presentation. I want to confirm that it's true. Africa has been stride in several fronts since 2000. Huge gain in fighting poverty, huge gain in attracting FDI, foreign development investment to Africa, and huge gains in economic growth and social and other dynamism that in many ways have expressed itself over the last 15 years is a big testimony for that. The issue now is, as much as those gains are around, there are also concerns. Some of these gains have created some kind of inequalities. And inequalities created unemployment. In many ways, unemployment creates migration. Migration creates, also contributes to modern day slavery. This is the phenomena of the day. We've been witnessing this everywhere, every corner in Africa around this time of the season. The second important thing is because the focus was mainly on economic growth and development, we've also seen some kind of gross human rights violation, political subjugations, and giving very less value for human dignities and pride. This is another main concern that leads and complicated the whole situation in Africa. Land grabs and competition for raw materials and competition for markets, unhealthy one, are also some of the concerns that we get to address in the coming decades and 2 decades in Africa. Because of these matters, the post-2015 agenda, where the UN Secretary General launched, is mainly focused in addressing 4 major pillars. This is beyond the poverty and the economic development. It wants to touch about the environmental sustainability. It also wants to see how the social inclusiveness will be addressed. It also wants to see how the good governance in all levels, in all sides will be addressed. So these are some of the frameworks and the premises that we want actually to work as sustainable development. Yeah. Now I can, right. And with this background, I want, right, it's here. No, it's okay, yeah. So with this background, I want to go to the presentation itself. I want to see at least 5 areas on this presentation. The first one is overall what the energy and development looks like. I think Professor Alberto covered part of it, so I don't want to go into that in detail. I want to see the potential of renewable energy, and also I want to see why Africa lags behind in realizing this revolution despite the potential and the outlook and resource that it has. And then I want to show you a few slides on the case study, which is a very concrete, smart, shared solar solution that will have a huge potential of addressing the problem that we are engaged now. And then I want to suggest a few things as the way forward. I think at the background, I want to just pick two things here. The first one is there is a direct relationship between GDP growth and energy consumption. This is reflected in developing, less developed, and underdeveloped countries. The second important slide that I want to show you here is the number of people without access to energy in sub-Saharan Africa is projected to rise to 90 to 100 million in year 2030. So because of the economic integration, because of the population, because of you know, how the daily appropriate means of surviving are very much related to energy and energy-based solutions, the consumption is going increasingly growing. If you see the energy gap and development indicators, you can see the very brown, which shows over 100, 2,400, GDP per capita per year stuff, up to the very, the dark yellow and light yellow, where most of the East African countries, I don't know how this goes. You see this part, the East African countries, the yellow part. This is, this is below 400 to 800, dollar per capita, and also the energy consumption. You can tell that those areas have a very significant low consumption levels. When you come to percentage of people without access to electricity, you see the variation between cities and rural areas. The blue line shows actually something for developing countries. And then you will see the second one is on less developing countries and sub-Saharan Africas. So you can tell that up to 89% of rural population in sub-Saharan Africa are still having no solution in terms of electrification for any use, including any kind of energy for household chore or for electricity or anything of that type. On the other hand, these are some of the basic renewable energy options that we have. We have biogas, we have small hydropower for local electricity, we have small wind power for water pumping and local electricity, solar energy for local electricity, so and so on. There are several options and alternatives of renewable energy in Africa. The potential looks amazing. The hydropower potential, 13% of the world hydropower potential is in Africa. In fact, some data, recent data shows that 12% of the world hydropower potential is only in Congo, Congo-Kinshasa, 12% of the world. But if you see the amount being tapped, it is only 4.3% of this resource is tapped in Africa. Solar energy is even worse. The continent has abundant solar irradiation, 5 to 7 kilowatts per hour per meter square, all year around. And if you see high wind power, this is only 1% of it exploited. geothermal potential, less than 2% of this exploited in East Africa. This is one of the big resource in the Rift Valley of East Africa, which starts all the way from Ethiopia up to Madagascar through Kenya and all these places. If you see biomass accounts, 30 to 80% of energy use is around this resource. So what are the challenges? Why can't we exploit them? Why can't we make use of these resources? The first and important challenge is high investment cost for solar energies and for all kinds of renewable energies for that matter, compared to fossils. In actual sense, we are arguing as Sustainable Development Goal leadership councils and experts that it is not because it is cheaper, but it is because the cost of fossils energy is not reflecting the real cost of environment and other social costs. It's a cheap resource because it's available everywhere. Otherwise, if we seriously contain all the implication of costs, these fossils can't be cheaper compared to all other energy sources that we are comparing here. So see what it looks like here, like 25 cents per, per megawatt now for unit cost for solar energy, 4 to 6 cents for coal-fired electricity, and 5 to 7 cents for power produced burning natural gas, and 6 to 9 cents for biomass. So when you compare these things, still it is a high investment. Of course, things are moving towards a positive direction, particularly since panel in Chinese market is getting cheaper. This influences the panel price in Europe as well, but still very high compared to fossil energy. The second important thing is the technology. We don't have the right technology. We don't have the right technology, particularly when we talk about efficiencies. And this is one thing that we are focusing on and want to invest more, and also to work hard, particularly how we can use digital information systems to improve the solar energy extraction and transmission and also consumptions. The third one is the enabling environment. In many countries, there is no great welcoming policy by governments and other partners for renewable energies. It's because of many influences around, but mainly it is because of ignorances and high investment that it takes compared to the return that the governments are expecting. This is how we want to compare the investment, but you can see now some hopes. Renewable energy is attracting more investment due to its environmental sustainability. If you see the World Bank investment information now, it is increasing from 22% in 2007 to 44% in 2012. You can see on the right side of the graph, the table that 2010, 2011, 2012, how renewable energy investment is increasing, both in transmission, extraction, and also utilizations. This is a case study that I want to show you. Very simple, very promising. This is a shared solar system for rural electrification. It's a very simple system. We call it pay as you go. It's a prepaid system. It has been adopted now in 2 major places, one in East Africa in Uganda, and the other one is in Mali. Almost 300 households in each areas are now having access to this sort of electrification. As you can see here, unlike the solar system that we all are familiar with, a panel on the, on the roof of the house, this particular system creates a kind of energy station used the solar means and start generating electricity there. And then we use the normal transmission system, which can feed the grid system in the area. And then the household installation is done through normal installation system that the grid electricity is using. So it is in one unit of three major energy energy processes. That's generation, transmission, and also installation. So it is like a turnkey project. You can see here the panel station there, and in this panel station, panels are fitted with on the front side, they are fitted with the transmission process itself, but on the other side, we have the backup system that works also with the solar system. And then the installation is happening through the same process, and it can be connected with grid seamlessly. And then houses are connected in this way. Each unit is like 20 to 30 houses. And each unit is like 20 to 30 houses, and one unit costs us around $20,000. So in order to supply electricity for housing and like 4 bulbs actually, and supply for all kind of house mechanisms, including refrigerator, tailor, and all other things, it costs us around $40,000 for 100 households. So per capita investment, even at investment level, is one of the cheapest, as it includes all the three systems together. If you see the unit with the backup system looks like this, and if you see how the community is participating on installation this thing, particularly on the transmission system, it is very much engaging and involving of the communities. And also part of the cost is being covered by the labor that the community contributes in installation process. And we have this kiosk system, and few volunteer entrepreneurs were trained, because these are the people who are actually managing the prepaid ATM card system. So they are selling it, and people are buying it, scratching it, and feeding the number on the on the switch, and then it starts lighting, and the cost is around $1.5 for about 3 weeks, and 1 hour before they run out of the credit, the system starts blinking, and then they run and buy the card from the close-by shopkeeper there. And then if you see how the electric consumption is rising here, in 2011 when you start, you can see the blue bar there, and then in 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013, you can see that how the bar is increasingly prolong itself. And at the beginning, the people on the kiosk charge the whole thing like 3.06 USD per kilometer hour per day, and in the evening it is actually a little bit more, because we want to encourage people to use during daytime where they don't use it for lighting. And then after 1 year now, you can see that the cost reduced by half, particularly for the daytime, and the evening time is still struggling, and this cost include all the investment, the installation and everything. And then you can see the consumption, how it actually change itself within a very short period of time. So as a result of this, business is booming in the rural area, because electricity spurs all kind of economic growth. Lighting spurs reading and all other human and social factors. Communication, particularly charging of mobile phones, is very possible now in any rural area. And because of the incentive for grid to arrive, because this is, as I said, seamlessly fits into the grid, governments are attracted to invest now on the grid, because whatever we have there, it's going to fit to the grid. So in areas where this system is coming up, the government investment is also coming up, directly proportional. So it's unbelievable how it triggers that kind of investment. See how people now having more to do. In the evening, they are tailor clothes, and they do a lot of things. And I mean, you can see that life is now changing. It's becoming day and night as opposed to day, and this also increases opportunity and comparative advantage for their labor and time. So why shared solar system? In the first place, this is a scalable rural solution for off-grid settlements. It is scalable, it's divisible. You can start it in 20 households, you can scale it to hundreds, and then you can fit into the grid. Because of its divisibility, it can go to all difficulty areas, including pastoralists, where His Excellency Romano is interested in Sahel and in East Africa. The pastoralist system, we just signed a big agreement with the Ethiopian government to scale this thing up to 500,000 households in the Afar and Somali region of Eastern Africa. It's pay-as-you-go system, so people have confidence on this because whatever amount of resource that they have, they can still have access to electricity. It removes barriers of upfront cost system, so you don't need to pay $200, $300 upfront for investment. And also it reduced overhead cost by centralizing power source. What we have done is 40 to 46% of overhead cost is reduced because we control everything from our computer in the office. This is a computer system in New York, a computer system in Nairobi that's controlling what's going on in Ruhira, Uganda, and in Potou, Senegal. And we can see if one household is not having light for 3 days, we send email, they go and check, and they immediately fix it there. So you don't have to have a lot of overhead costs for running this kind of businesses. And it is possible to do energy audit because we know what the consumption looks like in one area. If you see high consumption, unusual high consumption, then you start asking why this is happening and go and do the right investigation. So on the way forward, this is an affordable energy service, and we would like to use it as a major sword for fighting poverty, because electricity is a solution. Electricity is, unreplaceable, powerful solution for fighting poverty. And we also want to see how all African countries scale this, and particularly if they are, wanted to meet the commitment that they have in meeting MDGs. One other important thing is this same system is absorbing, energy that comes from the wind, and also now we are working some more things how we can link it with a thermal kind of energy systems. So I think with this, I want to wind up my presentation. Of course, things are available for, if you want to raise more question, I'm happy to answer. Thank you.